Lord, let's give Jesus a great big hand. I want to talk to you about a subject. I want to talk to you about a subject. I don't believe the Jews know the truth concerning what's coming. What is coming? Well, this Antichrist. You've all heard about it. Okay. Now, the false church is going to believe the Antichrist is the real Jesus. So that's going to be like 90% of Christianity is chasing after the Antichrist. He'll also fool the Jews. He'll deceive the Jews, and they're going to start following after him. Then the two prophets show up, and eventually it's revealed what the truth is. The Jews recognize Jesus as the Messiah. You've heard the story. And then some out of the false church will leave the Antichrist, won't take the mark, and that will be the gathering of the church then, with Jews and Gentiles. But listen to this. A lot of Jews have never heard this. And I 100% support the Jewish people and the nation of Israel. Okay. They're God's people. They're wonderful, and I love them. Now listen. The Christian church, that is the small remnant, the real Christians, they have a great fondness for Jews, the Jewish people, and Israel. And they support them. Okay, now, there's something they have in common. This is what I don't think the Jews know that God showed me, and here I'm going to tell you. The false church, Catholicism, 1.3 billion, the Protestants that are in cahoots with them, they do not like the Jews. Some of them will say they do. Some of them will have big Protestant churches they call themselves Zionists. They call themselves supporting Jews and this and that. But when the Antichrist starts putting them under pressure, something's going to happen, and you will see two different things happen. Listen to this. The Jewish people are going to have a good opinion of Christianity. They're not going to go against them. They're not going to be a lot of hard feelings. They're watching them, and they know something's wrong. Then they'll be a little wary of it, but it's not a big problem for them. But, now listen to me. This is what God showed me. The false Christian church is going to be just the opposite. They're going to have a real problem with Jews. Well, you can see it today. People that are Christian, identity, and all of that, and the reasons they don't like Jews, and they speak out against them. Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, and these progressives, or whatever, progressive, conservative, whatever. They're not nice. That's Christian identity. Anglo-Saxon, goes all the way back to David Duke and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. But listen to this. This is something that I just don't think Israel knows. I'm talking about all these Jews, and I'm going to tell you. You have a teaching. I'm talking now to the Jewish people. You have a teaching. You've had it since the very beginning, all the way through. I'm going to say 6,000 years. Just whatever it is. You've had a teaching that babies are born in the image and the glory of God. You've always had that doctrine. And that's so good. Now, you take Islam, for instance. They don't believe that. You'd say to an Islamic person, what's that baby in your wife's belly? And he would say, oh, that's a little jihadist. You wait till he gets big enough to walk. We'll wrap him in bombs. They have jihad. Islam is a religion of death. It's a death cult. The difference between Judaism and Islam is when you go to Israel, everything is fruit trees and flowers. When you go to the Arab countries that are Islamic, everything is dirt and dust, and the cactuses won't even grow. So when you look at Christianity, here's the point. Now here I'm going to hit the nail on the head. Catholics, they come up with this Persian religion, Maccabeanism, and Augustine come in and created this doctrine that the babies are born sinful, that sin jumped from Adam into all of them. So you have a woman with a sinful little baby in it in the Catholic model. In the Jewish model, it's made in the image and glory of God. It's a blessing. The man with the most babies is the most blessed. In Catholicism, they look at the love between a man and a woman as something that is sinful, that they have to continually go to a priest to be absolved of. And the children are evil. Now, this is going to sound, give me a little time here, it's going to sound like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I am not. Let me tell you the truth. The Jewish people are God's chosen people. And they know that the babies they create, God said, be fruitful and multiply. Every one of those babies is born, is made in the image and glory of God, and that's good. I could show you all the scripture right here where the Bible teaches that. Teaches it over and over. Now listen. So this is why they were so well blessed. The ones that were faithful, I know there's people that got off the right track, and they're going to be brought back. But when you look at the Christian model, 90-some%, they're not made in the image of God and the glory of God, their babies. They say their babies are more made in the image of sin. Well, what's that? Satan. No wonder they would hate in a spiritual way, it could come on them. It is, and this is what I see. This is going to explode. It's going to grow. It's going to get worse. The hatred is going to be from these false Christians against Israel. Israel is going to be, they're not so worked up about it, but these Christian people, when they see a Jew, I'm talking in the heart, in the spirit, they see someone whose baby's made in the image and glory of God. They hate God. They have the spirit of Antichrist. Their babies are born in the image of sin, and that's the Antichrist. Now, there are a small remnant of Christians that don't believe that. They believe babies are born innocent and in the image of God, just like the Jews. They're Gentiles, and they're the real church. So what you're going to see is a rapid acceleration of anti-Semitism inside the Christian false church. Now, the Catholics want to make, now I'm talking to you about spiritual things. Listen to me. The Catholics have an eye on the United States. They voted in an American Pope. And he was way down the list. He was at the tail end of nothing. They had all of these other people picked, but they had to go for the American. Why? They want to have a revival in America, a Catholic revival. You'll see in the government, among the conservatives, a rising amount of Catholics around Trump's. I'm not against Trump, but around his administration, they're all there. Candace Owens is a devout Catholic. And if they're a Protestant, they have that Catholic doctrine. It's the same thing. This is not making a mountain out of a molehill. God is very jealous. The Jews know that. God is wonderful. He's glorified. And that's in this baby. It's made in the image and glory of God. This is a real big deal. Now, I know Jesus is our salvation and the atonement. I know the Jews haven't accepted that yet. I believe they're going to have their eyes opened up to it. But they've always had the correct doctrine coming up. Once they see the Spirit and Jesus, the law will be no longer such an important thing. They'll be walking in the Spirit. The Jews have walked in the Spirit in different times in the past, and they were more blessed than any group of people on earth. But you have to see this, and I'm here telling you and warning you that the Christian false church is going to develop an anti-Semitic hatred over this issue. Now, will it come out, or will it be just a thing that is controlling them without them even really understanding the gravity of it? This is really a big deal. Who is God? Isn't it the truth that the Jews knew about faith, the faith of Abraham, the faith of these Old Testament patriarchs? It was faith and the beauty and the majesty and the wonderfulness of the God. I am that I am. And that's who creates these babies. You've got to understand that this is a really important topic. It's something that the Jews for 6,000 years held strongly onto, and only different little remnants of Gentile Christians ever saw that and believed it. But the majority of the Christian church is a false harlot who believes the babies are born in sin nature. And that's a lie. That's just as much a lie as Islam seeing jihadists, terrorists in the womb of a woman. That's how they view their children. It is. Because jihad is them pronouncing the ultimate vengeance of their God, who is a false God named Allah. He ain't real. And they're going to destroy the whole world, called jihad. It's a death cult. And I know there's some that are radical and some that are watered down, but that's the teaching of their Quran. That's it. It's evil. And you have to understand that it is so important with the Jewish people that the Spirit of God moves and brings us, both Gentiles and Jews, into the truth. And the truth is that we can be a holy and peculiar people. That's what's important. So my story here, to tell the people of Israel, the Jews, is keep an eye on this, because this is really a big deal. It seems like it's nothing. It seems like I'm making a big deal out of nothing. But I'm telling you, if you think about it, that baby born in the image and glory of God, no wonder evil hates that baby, because it hates God. It's the closest thing to God that Satan, Lucifer, hates. He wants to destroy God. He hasn't the power. So he goes after these babies. This is that big of a deal. So you watch this conservative party. I saw a video on today by Ben Shapiro exposing Tucker Carlson and Nick Van Jew, or whatever his fiance, or Fuentes, or whatever his name is, and Candace Owens and these people. Okay, I didn't pronounce his name right. You got to understand, Christian identity, Anglo-Saxon Israelite, the Klan itself, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. That's 4 Ks. Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. They're all Christian identity, believing that they're the true Jews. There's no replacement for Jews. They are liars. They claim to be Jews. They say they're Jews, but they are not. They are not. And God knows who the Jews are, and then he lets his true Christians, the Gentiles, know who the true Jews are, and I want to bless them so they can be blessed. But take this warning and think about it. It is a big deal. It really is. God bless you.